Have I ever told you that I believe that Brexit is a crock of shit? And often I might say, I told you so. I've even got me sign just over there. Yes, it seemed really appropriate to make one. So I did. Well, I think Brexit is so shit. It's as shit as Donald Trump is an orange shit demon. Just like some news outlets. Oh yes, I got a treat for you today. I hope you're excited. Maybe. Or maybe not. But it's tough. Anyway. So, have you heard? They got to put tariffs on the United Kingdom. Yeah. Tariffs. How dare they? We're special, haven't you heard? Well, we're going to retaliate. If you put tariffs on us, we'll put tariffs on your Teslas. Well, that's what's been said. That's what's being proposed in the UK. Well, there's a lot more to it than just that. But your very favourite news outlet, that isn't news, because they say it's not news themselves. Apparently they're an entertainment channel, even though they say they're called GB News. I don't get it. But anyway, Elon Musk's Tesla could face UK electric car tariffs as a Labour considers a retaliation to the US sanctions, according to GB News. Well, that is true. That is what is being considered. Oh, well, I wonder who this is. Oh, look. We got Jacob Rees-Mogg, that wheel and pencil. Oh, on the left. On the right, we have a John Redwood. Crikey, I can't stand that man. I just want to bash him with a stick. I don't know why, I just get the urge. Well, he's been bought by the oil companies, as John Redwood. But ain't it funny that since they're not in power, as in they have no power, because they got beat badly, they seem more reasonable now. They all do, apart from Kemi Badnoch, who quite frankly don't know what she's doing, and she keeps tripping herself up in Prime Minister's questions. It was rather interesting this week, I must say. But they had something to say regarding these tariffs and imports. Should we check? Ooh, it's your favourite channel.
We are too dependent on Chinese imports. Everybody talks about trade, but we have a trade where we sell more to America than we buy from them. But with Europe and with China, we're in big deficit.
This is what I say. That actually talking sense. To me, this is just common sense. It's reasonable to suggest that, or to point that out.
And in China, it really matters because there's this political sting to the whole thing, which is very difficult. If we take, for example, the government's aim that it wants to have lots of green jobs in Britain, that presumably means that we would make the solar panels, we would make the wind turbines.
We don't.
But we don't. And we import all these things.
Not entirely true. We actually build a lot of this stuff in Scotland. They build wind turbine blades and all sorts of stuff up there. There's also a new type of wind turbines made out of wood. Yeah, ecological wind turbines. Yeah. That's to be made look like trees. Behind me. But you can't have wind turbines according to Donald Trump because they kill all the birds, according to him. Flipping cuckoo. That's what he is. Absolutely flipping cuckoo. What's he think they're spinning around like a propeller on an aeroplane? Chopping up all the birds. It's bloody ridiculous. Anyway, they turn really slowly. So tariffs on Labour considers retaliation on to the US tariffs. Yeah, fair enough. I think they should. So they're talking reasonably here. This is what gets
from China. We're probably about to import a lot of half-price Chinese electric vehicles, doing enormous damage to our own vehicle manufacturing here. This is not a wise way of promoting this green philosophy.
They could put tariffs on the BYDs. They're not going to be tariff-free. They have tariffs on, but what it also does, it opens up markets in China for us. You see, if we don't allow them in, we won't be able to sell anything to China. And it's a long shot, right? Because they're very protectionist, and they think if there is a gap in the market in China at all, they'll do their best to fill that gap. But they do struggle with food and coal and all those sort of products, which they're very dependent on imports of. Now, they have said, China, for instance, said, if okay, you can put tariffs on us, but we're going to put tariffs on your coal imports, your all your imports into China. You're not going to like that, oil and gas or whatever they send to China.
John, you're naturally, by instinct, a free trader that doesn't like tariffs. But Trump, his primary reason for putting tariffs on China is to protect his own automotive industry. Does he have half a point?
Well, I think he does, and there's been a lot of analysis by the EU actually on this, where they've looked at whether there are clear cases of heavy subsidy and unrealistic costs and no profit margins and all those other things that somewhere like China will do to get dominance in a market before they then put the prices up. And they think there is evidence of that. Now, we ought to be doing our own competition inquiry into these Chinese goods, and if they are cheating, we need to retaliate.
Yeah, we do. It's, I guess...
Well, that's Nigel Farage, and he doesn't... It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about or actually understand the situation. I have to give John Redwood his due. He actually is talking. I think he's talking sense. Maybe you think I'm wrong. But the man, let's be honest though, that John Redwood was beholden to, he used to advocate for oil and what have you. He's a bit of a fossil. Oh yeah, fossil fuel and a fossil. He's both. But how do we take somebody like Nigel Farage seriously? You can't, can you? Allow me to explain why you can't take Nigel Farage seriously.
Not a little turn on the catwalk. On the catwalk, yeah, he does his little turn on the catwalk. Get him off, Nigel. I'm too sexy for my cat. Too sexy for my cat. Poor pussy. Poor pussy cat. Oh, too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me.
But new.
Blimey. See, no, you can't take him seriously. The man is a buffoon. An absolute buffoon is Nigel Farage. And yes, it's true that something needs to be done regarding imports and also what we're going to do about the United States. The United States now is a rogue country now. With Donald Trump at the helm, we can't rely on it. We need to be looking at new markets elsewhere. Now, let's be fair. That's what the Brexiters told us. That's what we're going to do. We'll look for new markets. We leave the European Union, all those countries around the world, poverty and that, They've got loads to spend, haven't they? God's sake. But it never happened. None of these trade deals, all the rollover trade deals. So basically the same trade deal that we had with the European Union, they rolled it over into a separate trade deal. So instead of having one thing that we had to deal with, we had to deal with multitude of different deals with different countries, which are pretty much the same deals that we had before. If anything, they're watered down. It's madness. All madness is madness. Baggy trousers. So the taxes were suggested during the Prime Minister's questions and came into direct response to the new 25% steel import tariffs introduced by the US President Donald Trump. But the United Kingdom's steel exports aren't as, how to put it, as virgin as they used to be. You see, Port Talbot, which was still owned by Tata Steel, which is an Indian company. They've made massive job cuts, around 2,000 to 3,000 people. That's it. 3,000 workers have lost their jobs due to the shutting down of the plant, and they're going to be building, or they were going to be building, a new electric arc furnace. But electric arc furnaces can't melt down iron ore, so all they're going to be doing is recycling steel, which is an alloy. They'll be recycling, and the problem with that is this: you've got to think about the impurities and other stuff that's added in. You can only use it for certain stuff. You can't. refine it down to the range of materials that it might have once have been. As iron ore, you've got the purity. You can actually start afresh. Some of it's going to have, for instance, steel. Some of it's going to have carbon. What you get, one bit of steel is going to mixed in. It might have a high carbon content. Another piece is going to have a low carbon content. You start melting that together, all of a sudden you've got some random steel. You see the problem? It's not suitable for all uses. You don't necessarily want, for BSP beams, RSJs. You're not going to want high tensile steel for it necessarily. It might not be right for the job. So everything's up in the air. It really is. No one really knows from one minute to the next what Donald Trump is going to say. It's almost like he gets off the toilet after cracking his head on his golden toilet seat. Oh, I had a brain fart. Come up with another idea. Then another one. I'm going to do this. We're going to do that. He's so sporadic. No one can really trust him anymore. You can't trust him to do the sensible thing. We don't know where we are. And businesses need stability. They need to know where they are. What is the direction of travel? How do we plan for the future if we don't know what's around the corner? And so many countries are doing what they can to actually ostracize, not deliberately ostracize, but to remove themselves or protect themselves from the United States. Instability. Canada's doing it in the EU, doing what we can to protect the economy, and also regarding defence as well. We can't rely on the United States to be that that governor for for security, the countersigner. No, we can't rely on them. Not under Donald Trump. He wants to undermine absolutely everything. So it's a difficult one. You know, it's out the. Are we going to be out of the fire out of the frying pan into the fire? Or is it something we just got to see through and have some hard times and hopefully come out at the end of it better off? Being a little bit more insular ourselves and looking after our own needs. For me, it'd be, within the European Union, because that's where I am. I'm in France, and the United Kingdom, they have to look after their needs. And the same in the United States, really, because if you're getting ostracised, you're going to have to look at your own markets. And that could be good for you in some ways, provided you can get the raw ingredients. And that's part of the problem. We can't in the US. You don't have everything that you need. And even though you were mining after this stuff, you're not anymore because it's cheap to import it. So may have to start up again. It's a catch-22 situation after this stuff, mining especially, requires heavy machinery. What's it made out of? Steel and iron. Which means we need more of it. There you go. You tell me what you think. Please, leave in the comments down below. I just think everyone's a crock of shit at the moment. I think I'm a bit depressed. But please beat the whole like button and make me undepressed. Non-depressed? Compressed? I need compressing. I need one of them big body socks. Shrink my body down. Or they might squeeze it all out into my head. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us coffee. And the links are down below, that they are. And we're also doing rewilding here. We're planting loads of trees. Loads of trees. And also make loads of bat roosts, bird houses, etc. And other little animal habitats. Links down below if you're interested in our rewilding project, for which we basically making signs to go with these items, where people can make a little tiny contribution and we put your name with it. So anyway, links down below if you're interested. But please boot the old like button. Maybe a little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. Toodaloo.